Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, Homestead in the Desert. And here we are on December 11th, 2019. And another sunshiny, beautiful morning with just a few contrails, if you want, in the air here and there. They haven't been very busy this morning, although they're starting up again. There they go, making their rounds here. And yeah, I didn't say yesterday that, but that round one, it completely turned into one solid cloud, and then they put two more of them over there, but smaller, and pretty interesting. And then they had some really big crisscross lines, and then all of those chemtrails, or whatever you want to call them, turned black, and the other ones were still white right above them, right around them too, everywhere around, but those just turned black for some reason. I don't know what the heck that was all about. So anyway, what have I been doing this morning? Well, I got up early because my attic alarm clock, and I'm trying a new thing in there with instant oatmeal and vitamin D that one of my followers told me about, and we'll see how that works. I know it's not an instant thing, but we'll see what happens. So I hung my hose up yesterday, but I got my Christmas star on top of my cactus here, and some people want to know what this cactus is all about. Well, I built this years ago, and it was it was all black, but it was just a hydroponics unit. And that unit down on the bottom was a tank that held the water and the nutrients. And that little level there, that's the water level that I could have in the unit. It would go all the way up to the top of that. And if it went any higher than that, it would overflow. So that's how I could tell when it was full. And then I had a drain plug down there where I could drain it and clean it if I had to. And the pump was right in there, because that comes apart right there. And I had the pump inside of there, and I had 1/4-inch lines running up to each one of these arms. And then I have grow baskets, which are still in there. I'm just using it to hold lights right now. But I had my grow baskets in there, and I had strawberries growing in that. And the pump would come on a timer and pump nutrients up every now and then. And then the gravity, of course, would let it fall back down into the tank, whatever wasn't used. And then a couple hours later, the pump would come on, put some more nutrients up there, so forth and so on. It was a pretty handy little unit. And I'm going to get back into hydroponics and aquaponics and all that stuff once I get settled in. I've got more important things to handle before that all happens, like getting rid of rats. But yeah, that's the story of this thing. But now it's my Christmas cactus, and I was sitting inside last night looking at the hose, and I'm saying that looks ugly. So I'm going to rearrange that hose and see if I can't drape it to look like garland going around the unit. And then I might clip some things on there so it looks a little bit more Christmassy. And the other Christmas decoration I put up, I used to yearly strap on the front of my van at this time of year, but this year it's hanging on my door right there. And my little Christmas wreath with a bear on it. I don't know what this thing about bears is, but I don't know, maybe it's because of my name. All right, everybody, that's about all there is for today. I think I found the culprit that's been really sucking my electricity down, and it looks like another expenditure. I'm going to have to go, have no choice. I have to. I'm going to have to go into town and buy me a refrigerator. The little one that's in this room right here is just fine. That's working just fine. But the other refrigerator in the main cabin, the one I've had ever since I got out here, apparently that's the one that's doing the drawdown, because it'll turn on and then it'll never shut off. It just, the compressor just keeps running and running and running 24/7. And that's what's sucking my batteries down. So I'm going to have to replace that because I've got it chock full of food in the freezer and all of that. And so I guess I'm going to have to run into town and take on another big bill. Ah, dang it. Oh, well. That's some of the things you have to face when you're off grid. And I was telling you about stoves and camping stoves and stuff like that. Don't forget to stockpile some propane in 20-pound bottles. I take all the bottles I can get. That's a 40-pounder right there. And then I got two 20s inside of that little door. And I got everything locked down, of course. And then I've got a couple more like that that are full, stored inside my garage area. And I've got at least 8 more 20-pounders. And since I'm going into town anyway, I have 2 empty 20-pounders, and I'm going to fill those up. And then when the next eagle flies, when my Social Security check comes at the end of the month, actually Christmas Day it comes this year, I'll run in. I've got one of my big 100-pound bottles that needs to be filled, and doesn't really need to be filled, but I like being prepared, so I will have that filled, because worst come to worst, and I have to shut my power down, shut down my inverter, and I don't have 120 volt AC power coming in. I can use those little Harbor Freight flashlights for lighting inside the cabin, and I can use a propane camping stove to cook on, and I can use a propane heater for heat. And I've already got one in the main cabin, but I've got a little stand-up one that goes there on the floor inside of the room, the new room, and I can stay plenty warm in there. So looks like another beautiful day. I'm going to get some things done. Got to go see what I can do about getting a refrigerator. I think I'll sit down and have one more cup of coffee and search online and see what I can find, so I don't have to run around and burn up extra gas. These added expenses are really nailing me to the cross here, so to speak. So things might slow down a little bit. We'll see what happens. I got to get things cleaned up. My company will be coming just after the weekend, and I've got a few more things I got to do. Organization is one of them, and I did organize inside the cabin. I brought some of my spices and that stuff. I got it all on my shelves for my pantry shelves to see how that worked out. And then while I was doing that, I came up with the idea, well, I got a bunch of little spice containers, and they're taking up shelving space. So when I build the doors that are going to go on that thing, on the inside of one of the doors, I'm going to build a spice rack. So all I have to do is open up that door on one side. I'll have my broom and mop hanging there, and I'll open up the door on the other side, and I'll have all of my spices there on that one door. And that'll free up some shelving space. All right, everybody, that's about all I have for today. G Bear reminding you, give me a thumbs up down there, please. Don't forget to like my videos. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. G Bear signing off.